being on some chill. We go
Number 5.
to 100 real quick. Real quick. Whole squad on that real. 0 to 100 real quick. Real quick. Real quick.
Welcome back to the $5 Multi Podcast. It's Thursday the 27th, and y'all already know it's your number one Uzo, Cal, aka Lisi, aka. You guys know what to say next? Nathan, any idea what I'm gonna say next?
Nah, I don't want to know, bro.
The Multi King. That's second win on the pod, and it's me, champs again. That's I created this podcast so that I could justify my opinion, and you guys can give your shitty opinions that are not winning any money. Today I'm joined by Pierce.
So,
and also Nathan.
What up, man? Look, just before we get started, can we just say call Lisi aka Mr. Asterix? Because how can you win a multi when one of the guys you bet on didn't even play? I just want to know. Can you really call that a win? Can you be the multi king when you bet on someone and he didn't even play?
I don't know. Why don't you have a look at my balance and you tell me if a multi can still win without one leg?
Man, it's like in an MMA fight when you take the win because the other guy got injured. In the second fight, Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman, when Weidman defended his title because Anderson Silva broke his leg. It's kind of like that. That's why I equate it to, but
That's a win.
yeah. Technically, it is a win, but is it really a win? Is it really a win? I don't know.
Look, if it technically puts money in your account, then I'm taking it. We'll start off with the last leg of my multi, and what I thought was the biggest event of the weekend. Tyson Fury coming out and putting on an annihilation, wiping the floor with Sauron. Wilder. What did you guys think of the fight and the excuses that came afterwards?
Where's the data, bro?
Oh, did you stream it on your phone?
I streamed that shit, but
hey, at least you didn't use a whole lot of data.
HP, bro. But that was trash. That was not boxing, bro.
Oh man, it was like I didn't realize the size difference until the fight started, man. And Tyson Fury looked huge. He's got a bit of a pass, so I don't know. Did he put it on naturally, or am I just being a hater?
Oh, man. He pounds.
Kind of white guy, be like big body.
No, I'm just saying because remember when he went into retirement, he was actually on suspension for testing positive. But a lot of people forget about that.
He was going through some things there.
Yeah. He's going through some things, but I don't know. Like,
Were they performance enhancing things that he got pulled over for, or recreational?
Yeah, it was, I think it was Nalodrone or something like that. But yeah, he got a 2-year ban. Him and Huey Fury got done for it.
Well, it's a pretty mud body that he's got if he's taking performance enhancing steroids.
Hey man, not all of them are supposed to make you shredded, but I still think it was a masterful performance from Fury.
Yeah, like I think we were saying, I was saying on the pod last time, that in their first fight he seemed a lot more athletic, like the way that he would kind of jerk with his feints and stuff, and he was like dancing around him, and he pretty much like still had that same level of like keeping Wilder sort of uneasy, but then added like a shit ton of power.
Yeah, that really surprised me. It was the power, especially with the right hand there.
The one he got on early was like, bro.
The round 3 one where he dropped him, or
no, the one in round 2,
Yeah, round 1 or 2. Bro, he
Yeah,
got
I
him.
think it was around 2. Yeah, that really surprised me because I think he was just spamming the jab, like it was just jab, jab, threw it about 5 times, and then he just came with the right. And I think it took Wilder by surprise as well. But I think that's what changed the game was that right hand in the second round. Because after that, when Tyson Fury started spamming the feints, Wilder was reacting heavily to all of them.
Well, even like from the get go, like as soon as the bell went, like the Fury like ran up.
Yeah, he rushed up. Yeah.
And I think that kind of set the tone. Wilder's used to sort of walking them down and then just weighing them out before landing that right. But because he was on the back foot, the entire fight, like he wasn't able to sort of set up the right hand like the way he normally does.
He used to jab out this fight though. Usually it would just be this little tap tap and then walk away. But man, you could hear it every time he went for it.
Yeah, it was just every punch felt like there were bad intentions behind it, especially with the right hand. Because
it's like he had like an elastic arm. It just seemed to like just reach right over. Like I felt sometimes Wilder was taking a step back after the jab because he knew the right was coming, but the right still like just went like
just because of the reach.
It just found him.
Yeah, well, Wilder cracked him good in the first round as well, but it just like he just shook it off easy. Fury. So.
Fred Brown,
that Wilder
started like falling over and shit.
You mean before or after?
That was the first knockdown.
Yeah, I was like, it was done by then.
Yeah,
he looked done. Yeah.
What did you guys think in terms of like, was the shot behind the head?
To be honest, I think it was, but because it happens so fast, I can see how the ref would think it was behind the ear.
Like
But I think if you slow it down, you can see that he got him behind the head, and that's why when he got knocked down, Wilder's looking at the ref like, aren't you gonna call it?
Yeah, because that's probably like if I didn't have money on Fury, I probably would have been like, you can't give someone a count, and if you've been hit in the back of the head, you're gonna come right like. Like, if you get hit in the back of the head, like I heard you're out for ages, like you're...
Yeah, it shakes up your equilibrium. So he was never the same after that punch. But leading up to that, it was one-way traffic anyway. So I think that was Wilder going down was inevitable. The way it was going.
I think he was getting completely outclassed. Because it was the last leg of my multi, like I was looking at all the stuff Fury had done beforehand, like the antics with Wilder's girlfriend, like his entrance with the girls bringing him out on a. I was like, bro, I think this guy's like. It seemed to me like he was taking the piss, and that maybe this was going to be his last payday.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he got in the ring and they took his robe off. He just looked like this was game day, and he was all business from there going forward.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just in his interviews leading up to it, he was just talking about how calm he is, how relaxed, and he is leading up to the fight. And sometimes you don't believe it when fighters say it. You think they're just trying to put on a front. So but it actually looked like. And especially in the ring, it just looked like he was so comfortable and confident in the game plan that his team had set up. I think I also exposed Wilder as well. Like I think Errol knew before that he wasn't the best boxer, like natural boxer, but in this fight, it was painfully obvious how one-dimensional he was. He was just looking for that right hand all the time. Like his lead up is the same. It's just jab, jab, right.
Yeah, that was like
He's got the Joseph Parker package.
Parker doesn't even hit 1-1.
2 jabs in a right and still misses.
It was like because his tail so obvious. There was a few times where he went for the right and Fury just ducked right under it and then just ripped his ribs.
And he got him in the gut good.
Yeah. Well, the second knockdown was the body punch, right? Yeah, it was just like. It was so one-sided, but Did you guys see the scorecards? One of the judges gave the second round to Wilder. I'm like, what the hell?
The fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. They need to find a way to create AI that somehow works out who the winner is, because the way that it's being refed in MMA and boxing, there's always like some dubious
A
calls.
lot of controversy.
Boxing is like, you hit, there's like a percentage, and then the ones that hurt, those are the ones you get the points for.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, it didn't hurt, then they don't give it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, soon we'll be able to have AI that'll be able to work it out.
And then they'll take over the world.
Hopefully, because I don't. Humans aren't.
Hey, we're gonna have Arnold gonna show up on my doorstep one day and take me out.
You reckon you're that important?
Of course, man.
We'll be on the bottom of the list, bro.
Yeah, I reckon you'll be one of
One
those.
day, John Connor, man.
You're one of those get caught in the crossfire ones.
Yeah. Or like you break into the wrong house. The address thing was the old address.
Nah. I'm the guy that they send the robots to come protect me, man. I'm the guy with all the protection, man.
No, I think that's our two-time multi-winner. That's the brains that you need to be looking after. But in terms of the future of the heavyweight division, what are you guys' thoughts about what this fight means and how does it set up the next few marquee fights?
Well, Wilder's already come out and said that he's going to activate his rematch clause. So I think the next super fight is just going to be the third and final chapter of Wilder and Fury.
But what happens if Wilder performs a miracle and wins? I mean, does that take it to a 4 or?
I don't know. Like, I think how much money would there be? A lot of money in a fourth fight as opposed to one of them, the winner taking on Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, I mean, the money would definitely be on the Joshua thing, but I mean, how does the relationship between Fury's promoters and Joshua's promoters, how does that affect them potentially fighting?
I think the issue is the broadcasters. So
Okay.
Fury signed a deal with ESPN,
He has one more fight or something. Yeah.
I think he's got one or two more fights on ESPN, and Danzen's got I think all the Matchroom boxing fighters, including Anthony Joshua, on their list. So Danzen's made it clear they don't want to do business with ESPN, because I think the guy that's the head of Danzen used to be an executive in ESPN. So I don't know if there's if that's playing into it. Maybe he's a little salty about how he left ESPN. I'm not too sure.
Mate, you can't take it personal, mate. This is just business.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a business, but I think that's what a lot of people need to understand, is that it's more than just like the fighters saying, "Oh, I want to fight this guy." You got to look at the promoters, and then also the companies that are broadcasting the fight. They all have a big say. Arguably an even bigger say than the fighter themselves.
Yeah, that's fair enough. If the case is that Fury has one more fight left on his broadcasting contract, then I guess the Wilder fight makes sense. But from a perspective of trying to build hype for the third fight, what's Wilder going to say? Like, other than the excuse that he's come out with already, his walking outfit was 40 pounds and it took his legs out of the fight.
It's trash. He's selfish for going for that trilogy fight.
I don't know how they can build it up for the third fight, just seeing how definitive the second fight was. There was a lot of controversy around the first fight, which is what sold the fight on the weekend. But now for the third, it's like, how are you going to build up Wilder to make people think, oh, yep, he's really going to come for Fury this time. He's going to even it out. Yeah, I think it's a hard sell. So.
Yeah, like I happily paid for the last fight, But just if they have a trilogy, I'll be watching the third one at a pub. There's no way I'm paying.
Yeah, it's a hard sell, but yeah, and Wilder's just making it worse. Well, with the excuses that he's come up with. He's blaming the trainer, and then he was blaming his legs, and then he was blaming the walkout costume. Like,
He needs to get legs first.
yeah. He got chicken legs, for a heavyweight boxer.
He's got the worst.
Do you think the added weight to Wilder's frame played a part in him like not having the best cardio?
I'm not
Wasn't
sure.
it like 10 pounds?
Yeah, but he did seem out of it, even in like the first round. But I don't know how much of that was him for the first time in his career, probably being walked down by a bigger fighter. Like the way that Fury kept fainting at him, he would have exhausted so much energy. Like
Just like
getting ready to wind up, not
Yeah.
winding. Getting ready to wind up, not winding up.
Yeah, because he was just biting on all these feints.
Yeah.
It'll like continue walking backwards and then trying to rotate out of the corner, and that it's gonna eat up your energy and take out your legs quickly. So
It kind of reminded me of the Diaz McGregor, the first fight. Remember how McGregor had that movement coach, and every time Diaz would faint, he would just he would move like he was about to get hit from his dad or something.
oh yeah, he moved all the way to the corner.
Yeah, so, and that's kind of not to that extreme, but Wilder was a bit like that, until he got his equilibrium sort of messed up. But yeah, so because the Fury and Wilder trilogy, it's going to be a hard sell, but then Joshua's got the hard sell of Ruiz trying to set up a trilogy as well.
nah, man.
And nobody wants to see that either.
Nah, I think the fight to make is Fury and Joshua, and that should be 50-50 because now Fury is the man of the division, and AJ is the draw. That should be a 50-50 fight. I think Fury should be the strong favorite for that fight, but I think that's the fight to make.
Would that happen this year or next year?
Next year, I think.
But it's only February, so unless there's injuries involved or unless the contract negotiations take too long, I'd hope it'd be this year. Because we never know what Fury's like. He might sort of go off the rails again.
I don't mind for them finish off these trilogy fights, walk through the guys, and then set it up for next year. If that's the way they're gonna hype it up.
Yeah. I think so. I think that's a realistic way to look is aim for next year. Because even before the second fight, I was reading, and even Joshua said in an interview, he's been hearing that Fury and Wilder's teams, they're already looking to set up the third fight at the end of the year.
Damn.
Yeah.
November.
Around that time. And I think, it definitely has to be around the end of the year, especially when, Wilder got messed up like that. He needs to take some time to recover. And
He needs to find a boxing coach.
Well, I mean,
He's got
apparently he's going to fire that guy.
I'm not sure. But even his corner, completely useless. There was no advice being given at the end of each round.
It was just a lot of that generic advice.
Yeah.
It's just come on, this is yours, and all that stuff like this.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of technical advice being given.
Yeah, so I think he needs to find a whole new crew.
Kevin Barry.
Kevin Barry he can get you to the big dance.
He'll box a little bit.
I think he's already got that 1-1-2 combo down pat, so it'd be pretty hard to progress past that. But
good Kevin Barry, so Joseph Parker can hold his belts too.
We'll move on to the Super Rugby Week 4. Pretty big smashings over last week. We'll start with the first one. Crusaders putting the hammer down on the Highlanders. Was it what you guys expected, or?
I expected it to be like this. It was kind of over by half time. So, but yeah, most of the damage was done by half time.
Yeah, no, the Highlanders, like, they're really struggling. They don't look like they have any real attack, and the Crusaders are just they're the Rolls Royce of rugby, all class.
That's what happens when you put your recent All Black number 10 in second five, and the guy played 2 years ago in first.
But they're down on it.
It's so bad. At least they have time to come back this week, but
when are they going to get just do away with that experiment and just play them at 10?
I think next season, because Tony Brown came out in the interview last week saying that he wants to move away from crash ball 12s and go back to ball playing 12s, and that he reckons this will be an easier path for Josh Ioane to get back into the All Blacks, which I think is completely it's a stupid argument because
I reckon he's done.
Yeah,
they just done the old pick him for one test, so he can't play for some more.
Oh yeah, typical All Blacks doing what they do. He had a nice cut-up pass that led to Carlisi Collins' try. You see that?
Get out of here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like Carlisi Telea, who's actually in my fantasy team. So yeah, that was a smashing. Who was the next game? It was the Rebels. Trash. They got smashed by the Sharks. Probably the less said there, the better. And then the following New Zealand team involved was hashtag Chiefs Mana.
Yeah, man, I was so happy.
That was a good game.
I think besides the a Blues win, nothing makes me happier than the Chiefs losing.
Man, they were down half team, 19-0 at halftime.
Bro, it was 26-0, and then they scored. Scored a couple of tries. Yeah, it was 26-0 at one point.
How good does what's his name, Noah Lollis-Hill looking?
Oh yeah, he's looking the goods, man.
That first 8 minutes, Brumbies all attack.
That
bro,
the Brumbies number 8. Is it Pete Som?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, he's a bit of a beast there.
He's pretty good. They didn't use him as well last year, I thought, but this year they really picked up the pace and it make the most of attacking.
He looks healthy.
Yeah, second try, he just straight ran through him. No one wanted to tackle him.
No, he's looking, and the funny thing, well, not the funny, but there was an outbreak of measles in Canberra, or in the Brumbies camp. So they weren't actually training properly, and they didn't actually know who was going to be available to play like a day or two before the actual match. So for the Chiefs to lose to them, after the Chiefs had smashed, was it the Sunwolves the week before? And looked really.
And at home.
And the Chiefs were the top team of the table. And then
this is their first loss,
Yeah. And that was the Brumbies' first win in New Zealand in 6 years?
Yeah, 6 years. 6 years. So, man, that is, the Chiefs loss is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It is good to see Qatar doing well. Did none of the New Zealand teams want to give him a shot, or?
I don't think so.
No, they do.
Oh, because he was already in Oz. He was at the Storm last year, right? So.
Oh yeah, he was. I
forgot
about that. Yeah, I think he's just a bit undersized in terms of height.
And I think New Zealand will stick to all the true blue union kids. No experiments this year.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. I was watching the Reds game against the Sunwolves. I didn't think they were going to smash them. I knew the Reds were going to win because they had a really good first half against the Jaguares last week before the ref ripped them off. But to come away 64-5, that was a massive result for them.
Brad Thorne's the coach, right?
Yep. So yeah, they're looking good in terms of the way they're building going forward. Baisami carved up for them
Oh,
from Melbourne, yeah.
He's Samoan kid, eh?
Yeah. And then
He was in the blue system. I don't know what happened.
oh, was he? I didn't actually know that.
So he's destined for greatness then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Blues are good at that.
If he's, the conspiracy, man.
Gotta leave to get your prosper.
Outside of that, the last game involving a New Zealand team, Auckland Blues winning on the 80th minute.
Yo,
Hardy Blues. Do you think that penalty was a bit controversial?
Nah, I think the way the Blues are building up, a penalty was inevitable. Yeah, I was happy with the penalty, but
the lead up to that, it could have happened on the other side as well when we were in R22, and they could have won by 4.
there was a borderline forward pass for the Blues to get that line break to get them up the field. I thought.
Nah, it was flat.
Oh, you reckon?
Flat.
You reckon that was Kieran Knightley? What about fucking Plummer missing a kick from almost in front to start the game?
Oh, mate. Nothing surprises me with that guy, man. Nothing.
He got hooked straight away.
It's almost expected when he's on the field to do something that makes you think, oh man, how did this guy make it in the scene? Who's his uncle or who's his dad?
Yeah, no, he shouldn't even be on the wing.
He should just be one of the guys that starts on the wing.
Yeah.
And slowly comes to the middle, and then gets a game at 10.
He is trash. And hopefully, I think Rico should be back in a few weeks.
Their resting policy.
Well, I guess this would count as resting, wouldn't it?
I guess if they're not playing, technically it could be, it could go under the resting policy, right?
Yeah. No, I think it would count as resting. But otherwise, Maus Mark Telea carved up, got a try. Maus Hoskins Sututu really building into some consistent form now, other than his yellow card.
Telea's having good rookie year, eh?
Yeah.
Very good.
All Blacks?
Nah, you can never make All Blacks in your first year.
Nah, no way.
I reckon him and Calvin Grace.
Yeah, Grace having a solid season. But then so is
Tom Christie.
Yeah, Tom Christie.
Robinson.
Less so Robinson, but
He hasn't played much, but.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who makes the All Blacks in the mid-season tests. All right, moving on. The NRL All Stars was on the weekend. Do you guys have any big thoughts on that one?
Yeah,
what a game!
He's a weapon. And did you see in the opening minutes he got a facial fracture? I'm not too sure exactly what it was, but he fractured a bone. He's gonna miss like the first 4 weeks of the season.
He's an animal, man. Like he's just so nuggety. Like it's hard to stop him like close to the line.
And he's not like he doesn't look athletic.
Nah.
But he gives 110% every time. He's so explosive out of dummy half.
Definitely. It's
like, yeah, you can see it. Like I'm pretty sure the Indigenous Australians, they knew it was coming. They knew he was gonna die out of dummy half, but it's just they couldn't stop it.
Yeah, stopping him
like,
now.
He's too quick and too powerful close to the line.
Because he plays hooker and lock, eh?
Yeah. But yeah, I wonder what happens when Cameron Smith's gone. Is he gonna be the full-time hooker, or is he gonna be the lock for?
Yeah, because who's the other hooker at the Storm? They got the one that they were trying to trade.
Yeah, they got Harry Grant.
Yeah.
Who was he was carving it up in the Queensland Cup last season, and he's actually asked for a full-on release from the Storm to join the Tigers because he wants to be. Yeah, because I don't know. I'm guessing the Tigers are offering him the starting hooker spot. So
good.
Yeah,
back yourself, man.
Yeah, but we're not gonna let someone go for nothing.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. They probably just I don't think the Storm are gonna let him go. I mean, they didn't let go of Adokar when he asked for a release, so I think the same thing's gonna happen with this guy. He's just gonna have to tough it out and then get his opportunity when Cameron Smith retires.
Yeah. Outside of that, was there anyone that picked up your guys' eye for our upcoming NRL draft this week?
Well, I don't know about in terms of the draft, but I think with the Māori All Stars and Indigenous Australians, I think it's good because it showcases other talent that don't play regular first grade.
Yep.
Like I remember Leilani Latu, he was playing for the Indigenous team when it first started out, and that's how he got his big break into NRL. And then, you got that massive contract from the Titans. Yeah. And also there's that Jordan Ricky. He's with the Broncos, and he had a good showing for the Māori All Stars. And I'm reading that he's going to get the bench spot for round one. He's the front runner for the last bench spot in round one next week.
We've got some preseason matches for the NRL this weekend before our draft on Sunday.
The teams that they've named, the starting lineups is who they're probably going to go with. So I guess this is a last chance for the guys on the outside to, make their last impression on the coach and get a spot in the 17 for round one. So. Got the big charity shield match on Saturday between Dragons and Souths.
That'll be good to see Latrell Mitchell in playing fullback for the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, and they've also shifted Cameron Murray from lock. They're moving him to the edge. I think he's going to play on the left side, which is interesting because he's supposed to be rated as the best 13 in the game. Now they've shifted him onto the edge. So,
yeah, because I was looking at that in terms of how it's going to affect his fantasy points. His base stats going to drop.
It's like 10, 20 points there.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how they use him.
Yeah, because now defensively he won't be required to be in the middle so much. Yeah. And then he probably won't get as many runs on the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think maybe they shifted him to the edge because they're thinking long term once Jairo gets there.
That's a lot of forward thinking.
Yeah. Well, I guess Bennett wanted him this season, but he'll be there next year. So.
Yeah. And did you hear the news about Bateman?
What about him?
He's not expected back till week 7 or 8.
Oh wow! What happened there?
I knew he had minor surgery, but I'm not sure if it got worse or he had to redo it. But yeah, I saw the news come out this morning that he's not expected back till week 7 or 8.
Oh.
So yeah, that completely dropped him off my fantasy radar.
Took him off the mock draft.
Yeah.
That's massive.
I'll probably end up with him.
You gonna order draft on Sunday?
Yeah, I'll be at work.
You can take him, man.
You do some research.
Other than that, what else do we have on our? Oh, we got if you guys been following, well, not following, but the NFL, they've got the combine going on at the moment, but then they've got their CBA negotiations going on at the same time.
Yeah. It kind of sucks because all the drama with the CBA is kind of overshadowing the combine because the combine started today, right?
Yeah, today or yesterday. Yeah, they actually started the workout stuff.
But it's like nothing's been reported on that kind of, because it's all about the CBA.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about what's being proposed? Are you siding with the players or the owners?
Oh man, I'm always siding with the players.
What
Yeah.
percentage do they get now?
Yeah, do you know what the percentage is from the last?
Yeah. So the revenue share being proposed is 48%, with it eventually going up to 48.5. And I don't know what the details of that are, of it going to 48.5, but that's a revenue share now. So that'll be in line, or closely in line with the other major American sports.
Well, the NBA is 50, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's 50 or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think it's a little different, the NBA and the NFL, because in my opinion, the NBA is a lot more star driven, because it's only 15 players on a roster, 5 people on the court at the time. Whereas with the NFL, there's 52 people on there, and a lot of they play 16 games right now, and they wear helmets and everything, and so a lot of the global stars in the NFL are the quarterbacks, whereas there are other very talented players in other positions, but they're not really known globally.
But that's for me, NFL has a lot to answer for that, because they took out a lot of the players' personalities. The way that they would interview, like Marshawn Lynch never really wanted to interview, like the way they stopped touchdown celebrations, like all of that sort of stuff. They took out, they tried to take out the personality, and then when they didn't have a product to sell, they were like, then they put it back in.
Yeah, I hate the excessive celebration flag. I think it's rubbish.
Yeah. Well, we know the type of people that were complaining about that.
And also the custom cleats as well. You
Yeah.
have to wear team colors or something. So a lot of censorship by the NFL owners.
So it's only big in America and Canada.
Yeah, but I think it's still, as a whole, still makes more money than the NBA, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it does, because it's so much bigger in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is easily the biggest market. So NFL still rules there.
It also helps that they play in 50 to 100,000 seating stadiums, as opposed to the NBA, where it's a maximum of
20.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah. I think the fan culture when it comes to football is a lot stronger than basketball. Even when you look at college football, massive. It's the fan culture is massive. Like, fans travel everywhere.
Yeah.
They pack out the stadiums. So. But
what about Aus Tua Tagovailoa? I think he's being seen by most teams' doctors, but they've said that he might be able to go back to full range of motion, as early as mid next week.
Yeah, that's good news. I've read that they're saying that there's no issue with the blood flow in his hip, and I think that's what I think that's the issue. Yeah, that Bo Jackson, and also that Dennis Pitta from the Ravens had that issue and had to retire early. I think those were the complications that led to them going downhill so fast. And just happy to see that those Tua doesn't have those complications.
Yeah, because when there's no blood flow, it can't heal. Because when I broke my wrist, it's in one of the bones that there's no blood flow. So yeah, they just put a screw in it. So it'd be good to see Tua go. He's probably looking top 3 now.
Yeah, well, I was looking at the top 5, and I can see Washington picking him at number 2. I can't see the Bengals going for him because I think they're already in on Joe Burrow.
But Washington drafted their Haskins.
But that was because, remember, they did an overhaul. They've got Rivera in there who's got full power. That's not his quarterback. So maybe the Redskins said that they like him, but, you know, they got to consider all options. And maybe Rivera wants his own guy in there.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how they go. It would be similar to what the Cardinals did with Josh Rosen.
Oh, yeah. They did him dirty. Indian Miami did him dirty.
Yeah, well, he's crap. So
put him under Belichick and let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Any news announced Marcus Mariota?
No.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything pop up. Like, it's not looking good, huh?
Yeah, I mean, is he really considered a marquee free agent? He's a free agent, right?
Yeah, he's 100% free agent.
Yeah, I don't think he's.
We'll take him as the Chargers.
At the Chargers.
Yeah, we'll take anybody actually.
Yeah, they're the Chargers.
We're nowhere near making playoffs or winning.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the Chargers do. I mean, trading up still might be on the cards for them, right?
What are their assets?
I don't know, just this year's first round, next year's, and the year after.
Yeah.
Easy. You know, it's not good for the team long term, but you know, if that's their quarterback, you know, give it up.
All right. Well, that concludes this week's sports. What's everyone got for their multi?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right. What do you got? You're laughing already. It's not a good sign.
I'm gonna win all my $5 back. I was 6 later this week, and it's only Super Rugby again because I just love Union that much. And love donating to BetEasy.com. Same time every week. So I got Highlanders 13.5. I reckon they'll smash the Rebels.
Yep.
Rebels, Lucy's is still shit.
Okay.
Next game, Waratahs 1-12 against the Lions. I don't know. I just saw that 260 got thirsty for that.
Oh, mate.
The odds beat you.
And then Hurricanes. I didn't look at the Hurricanes lineup before I put this in, but they're heavily favored, 35.5 against the Sunwolves. Hopefully Sunwolves debut more kids, more 19, 20-year-olds that never played top rugby before. And then Reds Sharks 1-12. Last week Reds were hot. Sharks are pretty good, but I reckon Reds will just get over it.
Oh yeah.
Jaguares and the Bulls 1-12 as well.
Who?
On Jaguares.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
They've been unlucky, but you know.
Yeah, they haven't won a game yet.
I reckon they can get it this week. If the Blues can sneak it, they can sneak one too.
Fair enough.
And the last game is Blues 1-12 against the Stormers.
Oof, what an upset.
We can do it. We're in form now. So I put $5 on that, and with the boosted odds, that'll come out to $1,684.
Damn!
Oh, I like that. I like that return, man.
I was gonna put Joseph Parker on as well. It would have been like 4K or some shit. I was gonna go for the other dude.
Oh, really?
Shit. To knock him out.
Gee.
I don't know.
You'd be a millionaire if
Good luck.
you done that.
Good luck.
Okay. Okay, next. Okay, so I got 5 legs here. I only hit 1 leg last week, so I got all the bad form out of the way. This one's going to be 5 on 5. So the first one is I got Highlanders 1 to 12. And then second leg, yeah, so Highlanders 1 to 12 is the Rebels. Second leg, I got Joseph Parker by KO or TKO against Shaundell Terrell Winters. I never heard of the dude, so that's why. Yeah. And it's Joseph Parker knockout at $1.30, so I'm guessing, this guy's a bum. Okay. Charity Shield, I got the South Sydney Rabbitohs getting up on the Dragons 1 to 12. Okay, and then I've got OKC Thunder versus Sacramento Kings. I've got Chris Paul to get 3 or more 3-point shots, and OKC to win. Okay, and the final leg is, and I wouldn't be too fussed if I didn't hit this leg, but I've got the Stormers to beat the Blues between 11 and 20.
I thought you said you never bet against your team.
Hey, I told you, I changed up my policies, man. Yeah, it's all about business. I'm trying to make people money here.
Oh, fair enough. Well, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just pointing out what you said.
Yeah, you gotta adapt.
Yeah. Nah, you haven't won anything yet, so you weren't adapting.
Yeah, you just gotta chop and change until you hit a winner. So, yeah, my 5 legs altogether is at $5. You'll get a return of $1,005.88.
Damn.
Nice, bro.
So that's $1,000 winning and $5 back for the following multi.
Yeah, that's right, man. So
You're sharp.
Are you?
yeah, for sure.
All right, we'll go on to the actual only multi that's going to win this week. We've got the Highlanders versus the Rebels. The Highlanders, they haven't really impressed me, and I don't think they've got the firepower to blast the Rebels out, even though it's in their sheltered home ground. So I've got the Rebels plus 13.5.
Whoa.
Because I don't think the Highlanders are going to smash them. I've got the Lions plus 4.5 against the Waratahs because the Waratahs are pretty trash. Then I've got the Bucks, who have been on a tear, minus 8.5 versus the Thunder. I reckon they'll put a drubbing on there. The Hurricanes versus the Sunwolves, I'm going to have to disagree with Pierce. I had a look at the Hurricanes. They've dropped Geordie Barrett for the week and Goosen. They dropped some of their forwards. They're really
660 for Geordie.
Yeah, I think they're underestimating the Sunwolves, who've looked decent. Plus, being the multi-winner that I am, I checked the forecast. It looks like it's going to rain pretty heavy in Wellington on Saturday morning. So, not pristine conditions for attacking rugby. So that's Sunwolves plus 35.5. I reckon they'll lose by like around 20.
Not bad.
Then I got this Rabbitohs minus 5.5 against the Dragons. I reckon the Rabbitohs got a pretty stacked team with Latrell Mitchell running the show from the back. They'll be able to win by more than a converted try. And then finally, the Blues versus the Stormers. I reckon the Blues, they might sneak in a win, but even if they lose, they'll lose by less than 8 points.
Nice.
So I've got the Blues plus 8.5. So you put $5 on that, you win $251.56, and you add that to the other 2 multis I've won you, and you're looking good, mate. You're looking good.
Man, this guy's so smug with his wins, man. Hey, Pierce, man, is Lisi doing the pod? Is he wearing like a gold robe and designer slippers and shades on?
He's wearing a Delta Orders suit.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the Deontay Wilder suit. You know that wouldn't take out my multi. That's how strong my multis are.
Fury should buy that suit and wear it for Halloween or some shit.
But he should buy it and go to his next fight and
Fucking
still
oath.
win.
Fucking hell.
If he rematches Wilder, he should beat Wilder.
Yeah, wear it the
Yeah, he should troll him, mate. Wear that. Like, he said he was doing it for Black History Month. Like, I don't know. To me, it kind of looked like he's paying homage to Transformers or something.
Yeah, look at the picture. It's Formery, and then the helmet kind of looked like Sauron from Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
Ninja Turtles.
or Shredder.
Yeah. Master Shredder.
All right, lads. Any final comments?
No. Just looking forward to our fantasy draft where I will regain my crown as the king of fantasy. Yeah, and then $1,000 richer as well.
Pierce, any last comments?
Nah, just good luck, just a Packer. Make New Zealand proud.
Last one from me. If you're looking for a simile for the word crumble, don't go Twin Towers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Adesanya.
Oh, Adesanya.
Stay away from those tragedies.
All right, everyone, that's it. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week to celebrate my third win. So far.
Peace.
Peace.